Imagine building your own Bitcoin rig so that you can mine Bitcoin at Starbucks. Well, apparently, the owner of this tiny $875 rig mines Bitcoin using free electricity at Starbucks. So, Ian Abada posted a video of himself using free Starbucks electricity to run a $875 mini Bitcoin mining rig. The post has since gone viral on TikTok with 2.6 million views and counting, but with today's Bitcoin prices and electricity prices in Los Angeles, he's actually losing money. So let's get right into it. So Aiden Abada is on a mission to democratize Bitcoin mining. As far as he's concerned, minting new coin isn't just for the pros. His message appears to be resonating with the masses. Abada, who lives in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles, posted a video of himself using the free Starbucks electricity, blah, 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 blah. So the rig looks a whole lot different than a warehouse packed with rows of rolling ASICs, an image which has come to be synonymous with crypto mining, which, by the way, these ASICs are about, I think, like $2,000 a pop or more. So instead, Abada's miner is relatively simple. It consists of a multi-port USB hub, a mounted mini fan, and 10 USB sticks, each containing two Bitmain manufactured ASIC mining chips. It's one of the easiest miners to set up and run because all you need is a computer or laptop, explained Abada. It's powered by USB, and that's pretty much it. Everyone can become a miner and be part of the crypto world. So an $875 mining rig. Abada started mining Bitcoin in his room in a shared house in 2015, where he agreed with roommates to pay extra for electricity, and in 2017 he opened up his own shop. I noticed it was really hard to buy equipment for mining Bitcoin, so I created bitcoinmerch.com, said Abada. At first, it was just me selling some cables and very basic equipment. The company now offers customers all the hardware you would need to get into mining. So research firm Technavio expects the overall market for global crypto mining hardware to grow by $2.8 billion from 2020 to 2024. Abada says his business has grown exponentially in the last 4 years as interest in crypto has ballooned. Now here's the thing, right? To have like a crypto mining rig to where you could actually probably make like decent amount of money to where you could profit, you're going to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to where it would actually make sense, right? So you'd probably, I think at minimum, to like potentially make like a full-time living of it, you'd probably need like, I think maybe 25 to 50K worth of like gear for you to actually potentially make something livable. But honestly, I think you'd probably need a little bit more than that to really make it worthwhile. So Abada says Bitcoin merch sales have hit $420,000 so far this year, up 355% from 2020. Now here's like, this is basically like a situation where you have the guy selling the shovel instead of necessarily digging for the gold, right? So he's selling the shovel to people who want to mine for the gold. And I think, honestly, he has a better business model because to really be competitive in terms of like mining Bitcoin or like Litecoin or something like that, right? You need a lot of rigs, meaning you need a lot of money. You need a lot of electricity. Now, another route that people could end up going to actually mine cryptocurrency to where you can make more money by technically mining cryptocurrency is actually the term called like staking. So it's basically where you basically stake your cryptocurrencies depending on the cryptocurrency, and you end up making more cryptocurrency from doing that, right? And that is honestly, I think, a much better option for everyone, especially people with lower amounts of money, because then there's not really any cost to them, right? There's not really an overhead cost to them. So let's say that they have like $50,000 in a cryptocurrency that they're staking for more cryptocurrency for potentially like 5 to 7% interest, right? That's a lot better option than like spending on like rigs to end up mining cryptocurrency that's going to cost like electricity, and then you got to pay taxes, and then you got to do all this other stuff, and then you got to make sure it's cooled down, and it's like a massive hassle. And not to mention, typically it's actually a lot better to just end up making a lot of money doing like any other job, right? And then putting that into cryptocurrency to then sell that later on. So basically, having a job or a career that pays you okay money so that you could put that into investments into cryptocurrency will end up making you a better return long term than necessarily like buying, Bitcoin mining rigs. So one of the top sellers on Bitcoin Merch is the new pack, the main component of the rig featured in Abada's viral TikTok video. We have sold thousands, and when we get more, they ran out quick, he said. Abada says that Missouri-based Gecko Science took apart a big miner from China and repurposed the parts for the new pack. Each of the mini USB rigs have 2 ASIC chips, so all in, the $875 rig has 20 chips. However, even though this consumer-grade rig was made from parts harvested from a Chinese miner, Abada says the two are fundamentally different. For one, his budget rig is a lot quieter than the industrial-grade Bitcoin miners. It's not loud, so you can run it next to your desk. That's a huge benefit, explained Abada. With industrial miners, you need a warehouse, you need power lines, you need the cooling. It's a whole thing. So if you try to run one out of your house, it's going to be so loud you won't be able to sleep in that house anymore, he said. But his rig is also a lot less powerful. So two important factors when determining the output of a rig are how much power it consumes and how much hashing power it produces. Hashing power, or hash rate, is an industry term used to quantify the amount of computing power a rig contributes to the overall Bitcoin network. The downside is that this rig has a very low hash rate, said Abada. That means this machine will trend toward producing less Bitcoin than competing rigs. These USB miners tend to be much less energy efficient than a traditional ASIC, explained Bitcoin mining engineer Brandon Arvanagi. So not worth it. It may look cool, but Abada is the first to admit that his rig of TikTok fame doesn't make money. It's actually hard to make a profit out of this unless you have free electricity, he said. Roughly every 10 minutes, 6.25 Bitcoins are created. In order to mint these new tokens, a global pool of miners are all contributing their computing power to running a hashing algorithm known as SHA-256. The exact same code runs on every single Bitcoin mining rig on the planet, including the one featured in Abada's Starbucks TikTok post. But these miners aren't running the SHA-256 algorithm in a vacuum. They're competing against each other to see who can unlock each batch of new Bitcoin first. To win, you almost have to join a team of other miners, which is exactly what Abada has done with his rig. But even with the help of this so-called mining pool, the proceeds from his small rig are pretty minimal. Abada says his mini miner generates 0.0002478 Bitcoin per month minus a 5% mining pool fee, and so at today's prices, that's worth $9.35. So $9.35, right? Because he's mining in Los Angeles, where the cost of electricity is 22 cents per kilowatt hour. If he runs his rig 24 hours a day, he pays $15.84 in total electricity costs. So Abada actually ends the month in the red to the tune of roughly $5.88. It should be noted that these numbers change by the minute and depend on the price of Bitcoin and the global hash rate. So these kinds of operating margins are why Arvanagi says that it's almost always a rule that buying Bitcoin directly is cheaper than mining unless you're running rigs with outrageously cheap electricity or at scale. Now here's the thing. This is why if someone was able to have access to nuclear energy and they hook that up to Bitcoin miners, the amount of revenue that they would end up actually generating would be disgusting, right? It would be disgusting. So everything is about break-even costs when it comes to crypto mining, said Arvanagi. USB miners like this could be attractive for people who don't have to pay for their own power. Maybe kids in public places, college dorms, buildings that share electricity prices, employees stealing electricity from their company, he said. So basically thieves. These are for thieves. The most practical use case for this miner, a fun hobby for those dabbling in crypto. I think they're a cool novelty item and they help educate people about Bitcoin mining, said Whit Gibbs, CEO and founder of Compass, a Bitcoin mining service provider. Gibbs heads up a company that's also in the business of offering the uninitiated an opportunity to get their skin in the mining game. However, Compass customers don't custody their mining rigs. Instead, Gibbs and his team help patrons buy mining hardware and install it at various data centers which host the hardware, pull it with other rigs, and handle the day-to-day logistics. It's more of a hands-off approach to mining. But for Ibotta, it's all about being as close to the mining process as possible. I now devote myself to teaching and helping beginners around the world to mine cryptocurrencies in their own homes, he said. So, it seems like a fun thing to do, but here's the thing, right? Like if you're going to be spending like thousands of dollars, right? It's either better to buy cryptocurrency directly, right? Or buy cryptocurrency and then purposely choose the cryptocurrency that you can stake to basically get more cryptocurrency. And in terms of another way, you're basically wanting to find cryptocurrencies that you could stake for compounding interest, right? So if they provide you with like 5% returns, 8% returns, 10% returns, right? Then that's what you really want. You want to be able to keep on putting more and more and more without necessarily having to do anything, right? So for example, if you were to put like $500 per month, every single month, right? And the cryptocurrency could guarantee you like 5 to 12% returns annually for the next 10, 20 years, guess what? You'll have a disgusting amount of money. You have like mid to high six figures, potentially even seven figures, depending on how much it truly ends up returning, right? And so that's the way to really think about it. Think about it in like the long term, not necessarily the short term. And that's with like anything in life. By the way, if you want to learn how to get out of debt, go to 40inbox.com.